Yo, tier list time. So, a few disclaimers before the tier list. I'm not exactly a good puppy plug player. I'm at best average, so I'm not the guy that should be doing this tier list. And take it with a grain of salt. I'm more of a back to aficionado, so and don't this is not a real super competitive tier list. This is just my thoughts. I've been playing this pack for some time now. Yeah, uh, take it with a grain of salt, with a big grain of salt. I also have some biases, some strong biases here that I'll be talking about them later. So yeah, I think that those are all the important notes. If you want to see really competitive Poppy Pack content, I'll be linking up some videos and a channel in the description. Yeah. Tier 1. Tier 1s are all in general pretty good. I'm going to start talking from the bottom to the top. In the bottom, I placed Chinchilla. The main reason for Chinchilla being the worst one from all of this is that I find Chinchilla's base stats to be really bad, so it's pretty common for me to end up losing both rounds, both the early rounds, and thus losing one life, which is really really bad for Poppy Pack, mainly because you want to get to the late game, so you want to preserve as many lives as possible, and Chinchilla makes that a bit awkward. There are other pets in this pack that have some sort of the same issue, that are pets that make you go behind in tempo, but those pets usually have a bigger upside. Chinchilla's upside is being a buff target that saves you a bit of gold, and I don't think the upside is high enough to place it higher than the others, especially comparing it with the other buff targets like Ladybug, like Gecko, or like a Moth. So yeah, maybe you can say this is a bias that I don't like Chinchilla, but I think it's fair to place it last. I think a lot of players maybe agree with me. Then the Beetle. Beetle is kind of a weird pet in general because it's the pet that enables Ladybug in the early game, but sometimes you have to go with only Beetle in the start. Like you get a Beetle pair in the shop, you do take the Beetles, and in those occasions, it isn't really good. It's a similar issue to Chinchilla. Beetle stats are really low. Even with the honey, it's just not good enough most of the time. So it's common to lose. And getting like Beetle level 2 by itself is just not great. You need more like support. Sometimes there's a rare level 3 Beetle game. It, it's kind of okay, but I'm not the biggest Beetle fan out of them all. Mainly, I put it higher than Chinchilla mainly because it enables Ladybug in the early game, so that's a really high bonus point because I'll talk later about Ladybug, but Ladybug is quite strong. So yeah, these two are bottom for basically the same issue. The issue being the low stats. Even the other pets that have technically low stats, like Bluebird or Ferret. Bluebird is a 2-1, but it gives attack. So technically, the turn you buy Bluebird, it's a 3-1, so it's easier to win or draw. With Ferret, it's like 2-1, but you usually go tennis ball, so it's like double mosquito often. So it doesn't have that problem of losing the early games. Chipmunk? Chipmunk is a pet that recently got a buff. The buff being that Chipmunk now gives the food, or the perks are free now, which is quite good. My issue here is I often really maybe I'm just unlucky, but for me it's hard to find rice once I have the chipmunks. So it's a bit annoying to just find the rice, or find the perk I want to copy. It's that for that reason I grown out of chipmunk mostly. I still think it's fine. You can give rise to it. It's a really good pivot unit. You maybe can greet a pie on chipmunk. It's okay. I like the buff chipmunk got. I just don't think it's better than most of these guys. Chipmunk is also a pet that, for the tier ones, it doesn't do basically anything until really late turns. So that's a minus for me. Most of these tier ones have an effect in as soon as you buy them or a little later. Like Duck, you have the effect turn 3, but some of these pets, as soon as you buy them, you get like more stats or just a big guy in general. So Chipmunk, you have to wait. It's a bit awkward. Maybe you can argue Chipmunk deserves to go higher. I just have these past weeks, I really haven't been buying a lot of chipmunks. So yeah. Beaver. Beaver is a funny one, mostly because I don't like it. This is one I have a bias against Beaver. Maybe if it was for me, I rank Beaver like maybe here behind Beetle, but I can't really explain why. I don't know why I don't like Beaver. I think this is a me thing mostly. Uh, like Chum asked me why I didn't like Beaver, and I just wasn't able to really explain why. So yeah, it's a bit weird. In theory, the attack is good because you don't have a lot of pets that buff attack. In contrast to health, you have a lot of pets that buff health, like pangolin, like tropical fish, so like duck. So in theory, it's good. I I don't know what I don't know why I don't like it in general, but I think it's fine enough. An issue here is like all of these guys, even Chinchilla, are fine. I don't think there's a single tier one that is bad. So these are maybe a little too close to the bottom, but they are still pretty good. Well, pretty fine at least. So we move to the first buff target from the tier ones, which is Ladybug. Ladybug, I think for me it's the worst from the three main buff targets, those being Moth, Gecko, and Ladybug. My issue with Ladybug is that it's a bit hard to get all the pieces of the puzzle. Like all the pieces of Ladybug, you kind of need an activator, that being like Beetle for the early rounds, or maybe you get Plastic Saw from a Lemur. You need those guys. If you don't have it, Ladybug is awkward. in the early rounds, if you, especially in the early rounds, if you don't have a beetle, ladybug is exactly the same as chinchilla, maybe even worse, because chinchilla you can sell it to get 1 gold and maybe buy an apple or buy another unit. So maybe in the early rounds without beetle, it's really bad, and I've lost a lot of lives because of this issue. Maybe that's just me not playing the pack correctly. But yeah, I that being said, I really like Ladybug. In the late game, might really be super strong if you have it, if you have like axolotl or other pets. Just having like one activation giving you like +4 attack, it's really strong and pays off. I think Ladybug is really good. It's just that I rather have, most of the times I rather have Gecko or have Moth. Ladybug, even I think Ladybug is actually good against Dog in the Turtle Pack matchup. I think Ladybug is probably the best out of these guys to deal with Dog, which is a pretty high bonus because Dog can be annoying. But yeah, Ladybug here I think is fair to rank it. Dog. I had so way back, way back, I got a notification from Discord from LG's channel, and was LG posting his first pack 2, Puppy Pack, tier list. And the thing I remember the most was that Duck wasn't the top uh, pet in the tier 1 rankings. It was like A tier, something around those places. And that shocked me because at the time I only played Turtle Pack, and so I was used to Turtle being always ranked first by the by the Turtle players. But the difference with this pack and Turtle Pack is where is the health buff going to. So ideally, the health is going to a buff target here in the tier 3s. So ideally, it's going to Puppy, it's going to Flying Squirrel, it's going to Hare, ideally. But the contrast with Turtle Pack is huge because there in Turtle Pack you have a lot of tier 2s that are really strong and really like having bonus HP from the duck. So you have peacock, you have kangaroo, you have even swan, rat. All of those pets really like having the duck HP. And your the same goes for turtle packs tier 3s like ox, even ox, rabbit, maybe even giraffe, dog, even sheep or dolphin, like all of those really like having the HP. So duck ends up being really valuable because in Turtle Pack you have all these uh, buff targets for the duck HP. The difference here is we don't have as many as they have. So it usually it's a bit harder to get the HP on a valuable unit. Like I said, ideally Puppy, Flying Squirrel, Hare in the tier 2s, Beluga is always great. But most of the time the HP goes to a unit that it's okay, like it's 2 HP, it's good, but most of the time it's not like makes that big of a deal, like owl or hatching chick or tropical fish. If you give the HP to a shrimp, lemur, that I usually end up selling lemurs soon. So it's good. It's always good, but yeah, it's compared to Duck in Turtle Pack, this isn't as great. So yeah, going to Gecko, I love Gecko. I think Gecko is crazy good because it has such a high state line that it makes up for a lot of stuff. The synergy it can be a bit annoying to have a toy for this guy to have HP. If you can't find like a ferret or a lemur, this guy can die pretty easily. But this guy is good. I like him. You can get the HP. You want to have a toy regardless because of how good these toys are. So this guy ends up being like, yeah, okay, I need a toy, but I always need a toy. Well, I always want to have a toy. I think it's a positive thing to be looking for. And so Gecko doesn't really matter that way. Mm, the things that make me place Gecko here and not in the top three, especially compared to Moth, are it's a bit wonky in the mid game, and especially late game. I often end up having like a Gecko that is too big, and in the late game it just doesn't do as much as I would like it to do. In contrast to Moth, like Moth in the mid game, you can use the attack to just buy a guy, put salt on the guy, and you have like a high attack salt dude. So that's a bonus in the early game. There, I mean in the mid game. In the late game, you can just the attack comes really handy in both the mid game in the late game. This guy ends up being just like a big stat guy with barely no ability, which makes him worse in the late game. He's pretty decent. You can slap croissant on this guy. You can slap garlic on this guy. I think both of them are strong on Gecko. It's just a really solid bet. Like as I said, all of these are really good tier ones. This is a really strong tier one selection. So I really like Gecko. And the top three, in my personal opinion, I like Ferret the most, second Moth, third Bluebeard. But I honestly think these are all interchangeable. If you place Bluebeard first and Ferret last here, I'm like super fine with this. I think all of these three are in the same power level. For me, the reason it's harder like this, it's I just think Ferret is the most versatile pet. I think you can play Ferret in any team and it's going to be good, especially tennis ball. But even getting the level 2 balloon, that's like a free pair. That's really strong. These guys, well, Bluebeard doesn't win you the games as easily as Ferret does, especially those early rounds with tennis ball. Bluebeard is always fine though. Like its attack is a scalar in tier one, that's insane. This is going to give you attack. Like I said, there are a lot of ways to get HP: pangolin, tropical fish, duck, gecko. So it's really nice to have a pet that is giving you the attack stats in this. Well, even shrimp, there's a buffer of HP. So it's really nice to have a scalar in the attack department that is actually good. It's like it's going to give so many attack compared to Beaver. Yeah, Bluebird is really good. Moth, I think is the best out of the buff targets. It's really strong. The moth has the issue of always the attack always is going to the first slot, which can be easy for your opponent to play around, but usually it's fine. Like Lemur is going to give Eucalypt to the first slot, so that works well. You can slap garlic, you can slap even croissant. I think it's fine to slap croissant here because that lets you not place moth first. You can place moth second, third, or other position if you have a croissant because that way it's going to be naturally high attack unit. Moth is just so good in general. Like deals with so many of turtle pack and other packs pets. Great, I love moth, and that's tier one. In general, it's a strong tier. We have a lot of really good pets, a lot of really good buff targets, and a lot of really good versatile tools here to support to scale. Even Ferret is like a scaler, like with balloons type stuff. And now we go from a really good tier to the worst tier. This tier 2 pets, it's really sad in general. They are, especially from here to the right, these 6 units, I think they are all really, really bad. So it's sad. I think this is probably the worst tier 2 selection. Moving to Robin here as the bottom tier 2. Robin has a couple issues. I personally, I really hate Robin, even though I have a strong bias towards these 4 squad pets. I really, really, really dislike Robin. It's mostly I don't think Robin is enough tempo to be worth it if you're running all, mostly all, right? So when I run all, I my ideal all board is usually like a big tier one buff target, either moth or gecko. I'm looking way more for tech tools like lemur giving me the plastic saw, like shrimp just giving me HP. Then I'd rather roll for these guys are actually useful beluga than uh, Robin. Robin is, even though it summons the nest, it's even. I'll go as far as say I'd rather have Beluga as my tempo unit because I can use Beluga later. Robin later is absolutely garbage. I, this is a 3 gold investment that isn't going to make you win. The nest by itself is really weak. Even though they try to buff Robin Nest in level 2 Robin, like trying to make the egg damage twice, it's not enough. This tier 2 is really weak in general, like all these 6 units I think are really weak, like are bad, and Robin is just the bottom of the bottom. It's really, really bad. The only use cases for Robin are when you have like 3 gold remaining and you have a 3 squad. Like you have like all, or you have a 3 squad because you had to buy 2 level ups or something around those lines. That's the only use case I can think for Robin. It's a really, really bad pet. Uh, Even I'm going to recall, even with me rating this high, the 4 squad pets, I don't like it. So imagine it's just so bad. I don't I Out of these 6, this is the one I think has the least uses out of these 6. Let me move to Frigate Bird because I think these two are really close. These two, Robin and Frigate Bird, are both really bad pets. Like they both can are F tier clearly for me. But the difference for me, it's that Frigate Bird actually has some usage, like into Unicorn Pack and the Golden Pack. This is like something that you can use. Mm, Probably this has use to try. So mm, my issue here is the idea is your golden opponent goes flee. He gives weakness to your big guy, to your big moth or gecko. The issue here is Rise. Frigate will cover that weakness with Rise, but with Flea, the biggest damage Flea does is taking out your equipment. If you have a garlic, Flea taking out that garlic, for me, it's more damaging than the weakness itself. So Rise covering the weakness doesn't heal the real problem that is that you lose garlic. So Frigate Bear into Golden, I'm still really skeptical. I don't like it. You're running a bad pet for just covering up weakness. I think it's weak. It's not doing enough. I don't like it. The into Unicorn though, it has more value, especially against Frostwolf, because Cold inflicts 5 damage instead of the 3 weakness does, and that's a big difference. Cold can be really, really, really bad for your big guys, so covering that cold is kinda good. So for that reason, I rank it above Robin, even though I think both of these guys are really bad. Frigate Bird has that going for it. He's also a bit fat, like a 2.5. If you get the dog stats, he's a 2.7. If you have like Moth, he can be kind of a big sizable unit. So if you see like a pair of frigate birds and you have duck and you have like bluebeard or moth, you can take them for tempo, like for some a couple turns, but it's really really rare. It's not something that's going to happen usually. uh the next pet, this is another pet I am biased, but this time is biased against. I don't like drum. I know drum is probably like ranked here for other Poppy Pack players, and they are probably right. My issue here is I don't know how to play the drum lines. That's one of my issues. I still don't know them. I have trouble with them, so I don't know if people like, I don't know, place it higher, that's probably valid. Probably it's probably deserves to go here, but I don't like drum, and it's mostly a me issue. Like I go down in tempo, I end up cooking like a unit that ends up being bad for the later turns. These drum stats usually go to bad units. Uh, I just don't like this pet as much as others, and honestly, I kinda want to know how to play these lines. It's just I don't know. Maybe they are more tricky to play. I'm not sure. I just can't play them. Moving to Toucan, Toucan has fallen off a lot. It used to be regarded as the best tier 2, but the issue for Toucan is that it had received 2 nerfs. The first one being the attack nerf. They nerfed the base stats, which makes sense. But the second one was with the peanut nerf. They nerfed the peanut toy, which is huge for Toucan. Toucan had a lot of value because in the late game, you can basically copy peanut. You were printing peanuts and making a whole board of 21 damage guys with peanut, and that was the way to scam a lot of games. So peanut receiving that nerf makes so Toucan late game value is absolutely zero. Early game value is exists. If you get dog stats, you can give meat bone. If you have in the same shop toucan and meat bone, you can consider it. It's not something I usually go for, but maybe I'm just undervaluing it. Maybe completely that's a possibility. Um, the other thing is with toucan you can abuse more easily axolotl, but uh, usually axolotl is going to be good even without toucan. Like just with a tar, with lemur, with snapping turtle, it's going to be good. So toucan is quite unnecessary. Tabby cat, tabby cat for me ranks above these guys because it works in more scenarios. You can get you can slot in buy a tabby cat if you have a book start with beetle with ladybug. You buy a tabby cat and you have some temporal stats, some temporal health, which is okay. It's fine. My issue there is like I'm often going to be rolling for other support pets like lemur, shrimp, even like beluga. Tabby cat is just it's fine. It's okay in that scenario. It's just I think there are other better support pets than tabby cat. The other scenarios are like with chipmunk. You have a rice chipmunk, so you sell the chipmunk, you get two free rices, so you can actually get a lot of temporal stats from those rices. It's okay at best, maybe for a turn. I still think it's bad. All of these units I think are bad. Tabicat is just sure I'll take it. Maybe if I have 3 gold, maybe like I don't know. Depends a lot of the on the board, but it's weird to take a Tabicat. If you have a toucan meatbone board on shop and you took toucan, you took meatbone, you can search for Tabicat. That's valid. I think it's still good. I mean, it's still okay. It's just by themselves. I don't think they have as much value as other pets. They are hard to utilize. Now, bat. Bat, this is probably the highest bat has ever been on a tier list ever. Probably. And I am a bit of a bat supporter. No, don't get it wrong. I still think bat is really bad. It's a bad unit. But I just think out of the 6 really bad tier 2s, I think Bat is the best. And it's a similar reasoning to Frigate Bird. It's the reason being that Bat is actually good into Star Pack and Golden Pack. But the difference is Frigate Bird is okay versus uh, Unicorn, and it's kind of mediocre versus Golden. This guy is actually good versus Golden and Star. No, no, why is he good? The reason is, uh, well, the other packs, Turtle Pack and Puppy Pack, they have ways to protect their equipment. So, for example, if you're against Turtle Pack and they are scared a bat will snipe their big guy, their big unit, they will just front that unit with a turtle to guarantee that that unit always gets a melon to just lower the chances of bat doing anything. And since bat is already like really low stat unit, it's not going to be good. Bat by itself, it's low stats, needs a lot of support. So into Turtle Pack, it's just really bad. Uh, I found that it can be okay against like some rabbit words because nowadays Rabbit likes going three squad or like small sizes of amount of fest to try to get the most value out of salad. So that way you make more accurate the snipe from the bat. Even then, I still don't know if bat is anything good. I still think bat is quite bad into Turtle Pack. Into Puppy Pack, they have well, but they have Frigate Bird, they have Tar, they have Snapping. This guy is just not going to get a lot of value usually. Uh, the difference is uh, Star Pack and Golden Pack don't have any ways to prevent the weakness. And weakness is actually kind of strong versus those packs. So it's quite cool, especially into Star Pack. You can definitely ruin some strawberry ill builds with just like getting a bit lucky with bat. I like bat into those packs as a buff target. It's kind of decent, well, kind of good. But into turtle and into puppy, it's basically worthless. So that's that's bad. Into unicorn, they just don't care about the weakness. They can just get a unicorn and get buffs from the weakness you're giving them. It's bad. It's just bad. So yeah, that's what that's the thing Bat has going for him that I think is makes Bat the best out of the six Bat pets in tier two. Now, all the six I think are bad. Mandrill is the first one. I think it's okay, like it's decent. Mandrill can go super crazy. Mandrill has a lot of really high upsides, but for me the issue with Mandrill is Mandrill needs all the pieces of the puzzle to work. Mandrill needs a toy, usually balloon level 2 or radio, needs flying, well, doesn't need flying squirrel, but you basically only take him with flying squirrel, honestly. And the thing is, if you have these pieces, it's actually kind of really good because you're giving Madriel with Balloon 2 is like a level 2 ant, but you're also giving attack to the Flying Squirrel. Later, it can go crazy if you have level 2 Mandrill. With Gariel, this is just a turtle, which is good. Having a turtle is really strong. With Mosa, it goes absolutely crazy. If you have like a mandrill with balloon level 2, flying squirrel Mosa, you just peel the mandrill most of the time. That's going to be a 4 gold cost for two stats, 2 attack here, and 2 lasagnas here. Like that's a lot of value from one mandrill. If you get it to level 3, the, Mandrill is one of the pets I actually like having level 3. Actually, maybe the only one I like getting level 3 from here. Because you have the crazy upside from TV, from getting TV, which it's like a mammoth, but you activate Mosa, you activate uh, this guy, so it's really good. It's when you get all the pieces, it's absolutely cracked. The issue is you are not going to get all the pieces every game, and only with this pet works. With any other pet doesn't work. Has the issue of not working with the best lemur toy, which is the plastic saw. Doesn't work with puppy at all. Only works does well, the issue here is like often like it works with flashlight and stuff, but it needing Mandrill needs to be level 3 to work with Stingray, which hurts a lot. But when you get it, you can get like Flashlight, which is cool. With DB works if you're level 3. It's I'm as I said, when it works, it works. The issue is it won't be working all the time. That's my biggest issue with it. And now we get to the top three. The top three are carrying this tier because of all these garbage units on an okay unit, and the top three is really, really good. So, Shrimp. Shrimp is really strong. I have a bias for this type of pets, but the difference with Shrimp is I think almost every Pack 2 or Puppy Pack player agrees with me when I say Shrimp is top 3. I, I think most players have Shrimp rank around here, uh, and I'm glad because Shrimp is so strong. You get so many HP if you have like a cycle board. You can just cycle toys and you are getting more HP. The buff, the Shrimp got a buff from 2 triggers to 3, which is so much better now. 3 is absolutely the right spot. 2 were too few, so I'm really happy to see this. Now it synchronizes with Buffalo, so that's really good to see happening. Just giving HP. Often, if you have Shrimp level 2, just cycle beavers, cycle chinchillas, you're getting a lot of value. Like 2 gold for 2 attack uh, and 2 HP. That value. That's a lot of value. Really, really good pet. And I love Shrimp. It's absolutely crazy good. The top 2, Lemur. Lemur got a nerf recently. Not this patch, but recently. They got rid of garlic press. But now we have, instead of garlic press, we have plastic saw. So that's that's super understandable. I think garlic press was pretty oppressive. Getting garlic this early was an issue, and I agree with that. So it's a good change overall. It's a needed nerf, you can say. Plastic Saw is a pretty good replacement. It's not as it isn't as broken as Garlic Press, but it's still quite a nice toy to have to protect a moth, to protect a garlic, the gecko. Ladybug goes really really good with it because you're giving it the perk. Even protecting just like a beluga sturgeon, a puppy, or anything. Well, not puppy because you probably have oven mitts with it, but I don't know. To protect units with it, it's still really strong. It's not ranked first because it isn't garlic anymore, so that's the reason. I still think it's really strong. When you get a lemur level up, just take a radio too. That's also really good with flying squirrel. You're just even radio with if you have a like bluebird spam. You take radio to compensate the attack, and you actually are scaling a lot. So I really enjoy Lemur as it is right now. I don't think it needs any change. And the top spot, I gave it to Beluga Sturgeon, and I believe this is super strong, and I'm super happy with Beluga Sturgeon being how it is. It's in a pack like this, in which we lack tempo tools, in which we lack good tier 2s, like this tier 2 list is super sad. Beluga Sturgeon existing as a high tempo pet is so good. Like, this is so much tempo, and that's really, really good. Just even buffing this, I think is really strong. And that's not the only side of Beluga, because you have the tempo, which is really nice, but also Beluga has the pivot side, because you can peel Beluga and you're getting the raised dolphins. And with those raised dolphins, that's another tool to help you pivot out. So in a way, This is just a tempo chipmunk. This is this is a tempo chipmunk in which you don't need to find the fucking rice. This is so strong. I completely love beluga sturgeon. Absolutely one of my favorite pets. Uh, I really am really happy for this to be here because of all this tier 2 nonsense. So yeah, this an amazing unit. So in general, tier 2s are really bad. Like I said, these are probably the worst tier 2s out of any pack. Like Turtle Pack has crazy tier 2s, and other packs have also really good tier 2s. I think Poppy Pack's tier 2s are lacking a lot. But to be honest, it's fine as it is. I do want to see some changes, maybe a buff to one of the six. Ideally, I want to see a buff to maybe Bat's base stats. Maybe that can be kinda cool, but I don't know. Tier 3s. Tier 3s are really strong. Really strong. I think these six here are all super good. All really good. This guy is super strong too. This guy and these three guys, I'll talk about them. So, Mo. Some people rank Mo higher than me. They rank, and by higher I mean here. They rank it something like this. I know LG likes to rank it like this. I can't stand it. I hate Mo with a burning passion. I absolutely despise Mo. For my opinion is that Mo takes too many stats and takes too many resources to ever be good. So by this I mean you need to hit Mo. You need to hit like Beluga and another perk, like a second Beluga, or to buy a perk, and this effort to get a 6/6 summon, which is not that crazy for turn 3. Like, but by turn 3, your moth is probably already better than a 3/3. Maybe you have moth with the plastic saw, so you are actually having bigger tempo. Even with the gecko, this is not impressive stats. The thing is, now the second phase of Mo is you need to hit early level 2. And by early, I mean like turn 5 level 2 Mo. You need to hit more perks to be able to buy the pill. And when you peel it, you lose the perks and you gain a 12/12. Which, okay, 12/12 is good, I agree. But again, you need those belugas or more perks to activate the ability in battle. Which, if you get all of that, you're going to get a 12/12 that summons another 12/12. And at that point, sure, it's okay, but the road to getting here it's so tough to hit all the perks, to hit all the level ups, to hit the belugas. You need to get so lucky for it to actually be good, and it's a bet I'm not sure if it's worth it. I want to say F tier, but I know people get some crazy games of Mo, and I know those crazy Mo games exist. There's a video of Coke getting like a highly tempo Mo line, so I think he probably doesn't deserve an F since those games do exist in comparison to Robin, which they don't exist, or Frigate Bird. Mo Mo is a pet I just really dislike. You can call it biased. I think Mo is often the bottom pet here in tier threes. Often is probably. And from a pet I really dislike, I'll move to a pet I don't know what to say about, and that's Hoopy Bird. Hoopy Hoopy Bird for me is the textbook definition of okay. It's just okay. I don't have much positive to say about it, but I don't have much negative to say about it. I think maybe the issue for Hoopy Bird is that all of these are so good that in comparison they make Hoopy look kinda mediocre. But maybe that's just I don't know. Hoopy, the only reason I ever take Hoopy is because my level up is Hoopy Mole. That's almost the only case. Maybe if my level up is Goldfish Hoopy or Hair Hoopy, and I'm like against Star Pack or against Golden Pack. In those scenarios, I'd probably take Hoopy. Not because Hoopy is great, but because Hair and Goldfish are worse into Star Pack and into Golden Pack. So yeah, there are some couple scenarios I take. I'm never I'm never too unhappy. I'm never too happy to see from seeing Hoopy, but I'm never sad from seeing Hoopy. So I don't know what to say. The snipes are good for like one game or for one round or two, but in the future this guy is not going to do almost no damage. The level up spike is not good enough. Even with microbe, I don't feel this is good. It's just okay. So moving to goldfish. Goldfish is a weird one. With goldfish, there's a lot of stuff to say. Goldfish is similar to chinchilla in the sense that it's another pet that you take and you fall behind it on tempo, but in theory it has like a really good it has a really strong future. You have a really good upside from taking this loss of tempo, but I'm not sure if that's true. Like most of the time you're losing tempo and you aren't getting a lot of gold in return. You're getting like 6, maybe 7 gold with level 1 goldfish, which is fine, but I rather have more lives than more gold, probably. Uh, and this pet makes you lose quite a bit. Uh, there are some stuff. If you're able to get a goldfish too, you're going to be able to get a lot of gold. Like the spike of gold from goldfish to goldfish level 2, it's insane. It's really good. I'm I'm happy if I see goldfish 2. That's really good. The other stuff is yeah, goldfish makes you go behind in tempo, but if you have a start with moth and maybe bluebird, that that tempo loss doesn't really matter because you are buying a one attack 5 HP unit with units that are helping you to stay up with attack. So even with Took and Midbone, just a way to getting attack from to Goldfish, I think it's worth it. So it's a quite interesting pet to talk about. Some people rank it last, as I mentioned. I think that's a bit too harsh. I think Goldfish has its uses. It's okay. I like Goldfish enough, I guess. Even level 1 Goldfish can make you enough money sometimes. I don't know. So, hair. This is a. Oof, hair, man. Hair is a pet I don't think I value as much as other people, except in the Turtle Pack matchup. I think hair in the Turtle Pack matchup is super good. It's really strong. The thing with this matchup in general is if you have early game hair, you're putting pressure on them to buy garlic. If they buy garlic, you copy garlic and now you have a big, ideally you have a big hair with garlic. That's good for you. And some people don't buy garlic because you have hair. So even though hair is naked and doesn't have any perk, you are preventing your opponent from buying perks, which is good in the long run. So hair is quite good. In the mid game, it can go really crazy if you hit Axolotl, because every time he copies a perk, Axolotl is going to buff him. So if you get hair level 2, Axolotl is going to buff him twice. If you get Axolotl level 2 and hair level 2, that's absolutely insane. That's a lot of stats, and hair becomes like quite the pet in those scenarios. He scales super fast. He in the late game becomes also a super strong pet when you hit level 2 hair, because turtle packs late game usually is have good board, good stats, good tech units, and then buy equipment, which is usually melon. Sometimes mushroom, but it's usually melon. And when you have hair, you're copying that melon. So you copy the melon, and if you have hair level 2, you copy melon twice, which is super good. Well, usually you copy melon twice. It's just a really good pet. Some pack to some turtle pack players struggle to deal against hair, so that's another bonus. It's just super good pet. I like him a lot, but one of the issues is into other packs it's not as great. Into pack 2 likes to spam pie a lot, and croissant, and pancakes, and all of those perks. You, you can copy them and you don't gain anything, because you don't gain anything in the battle with the perk. You don't gain anything with pie, pancakes, or croissant, or anything like that. So against pack 2, that's an issue. You still have the axolotl scaling though. Against Star Pack, what are you copying? Are you going to copy like a strawberry or something? That's not going to be good. Against Golden Pack, they don't have good health food, good perks for you to copy again. It's another issue. At best, you copy like a fig. I don't know. Usually, it's going to be bad. And against unicorn, it can be okay because you eat the cold from the frost wolf, and then you copy like a gingerbread man or something. It's like a built-in frigate in a way. Probably it's okay. I don't think it's anything crazy. So yeah, her. I like her. Next pet. Well, next trio of pets. We have these three pets. We have pangolin, flying squirrel, and tropical fish. I think all of these are tied. I think they are really good, and I can't. Well, I think this is the order for me, but I can see any other order. If your order is like pangolin first and drop them flying, that's super fair. If your order is flying pangolin, tropical fish, that's also fair. I think all these three pets can go in any order. My order though is this one. I'm going to explain why. So pangolin is just nice. 4 HP. It got a small nerf from going from 5 to 4. It hasn't changed a lot. It's still really solid unit. Uh, Pangolin pill good. You're going to take pangolin pill whenever you can in a lot of scenarios. That's just good. The downs, the bad side from pangolin is how much you need the toy and the pill. You need to get both, which usually it isn't an issue, but it can be kind of tricky sometimes. But most of the time, this is going to be a hell of a good pet. Flying squirrel is unbelievable good. The refresh toy is super strong, mostly because in the late game, when you are so deep in the late game and you have your board, and it's hard to cycle toys. At that point, it's hard because you have your you have your already selected board. Maybe the board is too big and you don't want to sell any of your pets. Well, the toy is going to keep refreshing itself since you have flying squirrel. So that's a huge upside. If you have like a stinky sock or do you have a TP, that's going to be refreshing itself. So really, really good. Um, in the early game, it can go kinda wild with Balloon, with Radio, especially with Radio. With Mandrill, I already explained it how good it is. With Mosa, it's just a super nice pet with the +2. It's scaling itself, which is good. My one issue with flying, I have only one issue, and that is often I rather stay and keep my tier ones buff target, especially if it's like a moth or a gecko. Well, with gecko I maybe take this guy because of the toy synergy, but if it's like a ladybug, if it's a gecko, I question this. Maybe I just rather search for tech units like lemur, like shrimp, like beluga, rather than keep the dump scaling. Maybe that's that may be a mistake because I'm not too experienced, but from now seems okay. Tropical fish. Tropical fish is a bit of a weird pet. It it has the issue of not being concentrated stats. It's kind of a wide scaler, and the issue is pangolin is so good because it gives all that health instantly. So pets like ladybug that really want to have high HP can get that instant gratification from gratification, can get that instant bonus from pangolin. Other pets like flying squirrel, stuff like that, they get a lot of stats from there. Uh, Tropical fish, white scaling, a bit awkward sometimes. When you have like a moth gecko but not a second buff target, it can be a bit awkward. Uh, it's a good pet. No, don't get me wrong. Uh, I don't think I have much to say about tropical fish, giving more HP. Oh yeah, the nerf to its base stats hurts. It's a little harsh for me, for my taste. But to be honest, I think you can still slap a meat bone on the on the tropical fish. I think it still does the job well enough. Even if you don't find meat bone, I think just croissant maybe I might still be okay. Uh, yeah, I don't have much to say else about tropical fish. Now, oh, uh, I am super biased for all, and not only all, I am really biased towards all the four squad pets. Oh, all is so underappreciated. I I know all is usually ranked around hair level, like here probably is usually ranked. I know Chum ranks all below Hoopy, which if you ask me that's just a hate crime. I think Chum is hating too much. But uh I think all is super underappreciated. It's always similar to goldfish and to chinchilla in the sense that it's another pet you're going down on tempo, but you have an upside. The thing with chinchilla is that the upside is you're saving a bit of gold by going big chinchilla. The upside with uh, goldfish is you're going to have maybe a better pivot. The difference is the upside with all is huge. It's absolutely crazy because you're getting a scaler, a gold gen pet, and you are getting a pet that synergizes with a lot of other great pets like shrimp, like llama, like buffalo, like orchid mantis, like goat, and you can just sell all in the late game for a dragon, and it goes so smoothly. It's so good. Even even just spiking for all two, it's absolutely crazy. I talked about how level 2 goldfish is quite good, like it gives you a lot of gold, but between level 2 goldfish and level 2 all, there's a huge difference. I think level 2 all is completely cracked. Thanks to that can be quite helpful. Just the synergy between all and these other 4 squad pets, I think has the value in itself. So these two, the top two, the top two, I think it's also pretty tight. I'm happy placing whichever one of these top one. For now, I think I'll just put Poppy first, second Hatching. But if someone has Hatching first, I'm not going to bat an eye. I think it's super fair. Hatching has a lot of upsides, a lot of them. You can have Monkey early, not only early Monkey, just early Monkey, because you can get that turn 5, turn 6 if you kinda get lucky. It's really strong. Like the scaling is so good. It's like all two, but you don't have to sell everything you do. Uh, Hatching is dumb. Getting Hatching 3 level 3 can be game winning. The thing with Hatching level 3 is you only take Hatching 3 if you are up in tempo or you are really down in tempo, because there are some games your only out ends up being Hatching 3, but those are some rare occasions, not really what happens usually. So yeah, hatching really good. Puppy on the other hand, it's a bit of a more slow buff scaler, if you want to say that, but has the upside, the huge upside of having TP on the late game. Now with Peanut Nerf, the best toys for scamming outs are Sock and TP by a huge margin. Both of them are really good toys, and and level 2 TP can be devastating if you have Big Puppy. That's one of the outs. It's just really solid, really good. I like it. It's a hell of a pet. I love Puppy and works so well with everything. Just even flying, like works so well. I I've been going with Poppy as my buff target a lot more recently now. But yeah, in general, a great selection of tier 3s. We have 6 super good ones, and these are okay. Then there's Hoopy and there's Small. Super happy with these tier 3s, with how they are at the moment, so really happy with that. So moving to tier 4s. So the tier 4s, this is a weird tier in general. We This tier looks kind of weak in general if you look at it, comparing it with other tier 4s, especially Golden Pack tier 4s or Star Pack tier 4s. They look a bit weak. Well, a bit too weak, maybe. But a lot of these pets, like Doberman, Mycrove, Chameleon, they work a lot better, not when you get them, but in the future. So this is really weird. I'm going to talk about these pets more later, but yeah, it's a bit weird. They are weak for tier 4s, but they can be good in the future, so that's a bit weird. So let's start with the worst one. It's Whale Shark. Whale Shark has only two uses. Two uses has Whale Shark. That's versus pack 5 or Unicorn Pack, and a really weird, maybe super high tempo line. Maybe I explain that later. So, Whale Shark's issue is you get it for the first time and you say, like, whoa, every perk is a pair. That's really strong. But then you realize you can't put any type of equipment here, any type of defensive equipment. You can't protect Whale Shark with a melon. You can't protect Whale Shark with a lemon, with a melon, with anything. So that's horrible. You end up with a big Whale Shark that just dies because it doesn't have melon or something. So yeah, Whale Shark. That's the biggest issue with Whale Shark. And the thing here is the use cases for whale shark are versus a unicorn pack because you can absorb the uh, the crisp for from like a red dragon from a phoenix. You can absorb crisp, get a free +2/+2, maybe +4/+4. It's not amazing. It's okay. Can be used. I'm still not sure. I don't have too many experience, mainly because it's hard to find a lot of unicorn players playing rank. So yeah, uh, the other use case is even more obscure or hard to find. Is if you have a super high tempo start, usually like a book start high roll, and you have won every singular game until with getting whale shark early, then you can take whale shark and start just hyper scaling it. Because if you are super high on tempo, this is an okay finisher. It's just bad in general. You almost never take it, you can skip it a lot of the time. It's not worth the effort. And at the end, it not having equipment makes it so bad. So yeah, Whale Shark dead last by a big difference. Also, easy F tier. Doberman. Doberman is quite the interesting pet because the the ability asks the puppy pack player to not have any other tier 4 or lower pet. This means Doberman is just a no ability pet when you get it. You get it early, Doberman has no ability at all. But Doberman is so good when you're pivoting out of a board. If you're going to pivot out with chicken, with lobsters, with cans, usually you're going to sell your entire board and then uh, you're going to buy new pets, new tier 5s or 6s. So that requirement of not having any other tier 4 or lower usually isn't going to matter. So that's absolutely huge because you are going to buy these new strong units like Eagle, like Sauropod or Octo, anything really, like anything. And this is going to get free melon. So Doberman in reality is one of the best go-to pivot units when you're pivoting. It's amazing. You get the coconut, you get high attack, really good. Uh, in the mirror, it has another use case because it's actually quite a strong pet in the mirror because it blocks both TP and Peanut, which while Peanut is nerfed, Peanut is actually still okay in the mirror, so Doberman still has that niche going for it. Now, if I'm talking so highly about Doberman, then why is it so far behind all of the other pets? The reason is I don't think it's enough to place Doraemon high. Leveling up into Doraemon feels really bad because, like I said, it's going to be a no ability pet for the most part of the game. So you maybe buy it, slap a croissant, and then you pivot, but it's kind of annoying. It's a pet that you're not going to buy if you level up into it. Even in turn 7, 8, you aren't going to. If anything, you buy it turn 9, turn 10 type stuff. So yeah, that's why Doberman is placed here. Caterpillar. I am. I think I am an official Caterpillar hater. Maybe. I know I rank this guy super low compared to everyone else. People rank this as like the third best, mostly. But I highly disagree. Highly disagree. So, Caterpillar is another chinchilla type pet, a goldfish type pet, old type pet that has this type of lose tempo but get a reward in the future type ability, and it's not worth it for me. Usually, I'm going to lose because I'm down in this tempo, and then I get a level up. I get a chance to get a tier 5, which, okay, I can see the appeal since the tier 5s are all really strong. People also buy caterpillars in turn 7 when they have chicken or lobster pivot going for to get a chance to get tier a tier 6, which I also get it. I don't share the opinion, but I get it. The thing here mostly is just a bit awkward. Most of the time I don't think getting a chance is worth it, the lives, because maybe I'm just bad at the game, so maybe my positioning is making me lose with Caterpillar, but I don't like it, and I don't think it's worth the loss of tempo. Because with all, yeah, I lose tempo, but I gain so much stuff. I gain scaling, I get money, I gain synergy with other really good pets. So for me, that's worth it. Caterpillar isn't. And then if you get Caterpillar level 3, you get the Butterfree. I don't like Butterfree. I think it's quite the weird pet. It depends a lot on the board. If they have a rabbit board, it's going to be logical to keep the pillar and just uh go for a Butterfree. My issue with Butterfree is you need, well, my issue is how it pans out with the late game scalers. It being Elysiel, Dragon, or T-Rex. It's just not good because this guy, you're wide scaling, but this guy doesn't get scaled. This guy copies the stats from the opponent, so you aren't really scaling Caterpillar. It's an awkward pet, Butterfree. I don't know how good it is. Maybe it's another Doberman, another dromedary type stuff, and this is a me thing, and I don't know how to play Pillar. I don't know. I don't like it. So, Micro. Microbe is one of my favorite pets. I love Microbe. It's so fun to use. But it's a bit hard to get the right board for Microbe. You need to. So, the idea with Microbe is you are going to take out all the equipment from the game. That means you can utilize snapping or tar to make your opponent lose the equipment, and you gain tar chilies, you gain skewer, you can utilize pie, then microbe, then tar, pancakes type stuff. And this is a pet that is completely worthless when you level it up like Doberman, but microbe is an amazing scamming tool. It's really, really good. And a lot of times the opponent doesn't play around microbe because it's really hard to play around microbe, honestly. Uh, you can have pets that synergy really well, like tar, snapping, octo, lionfish, even some stuff like hoopy. There was like this weird microboard with axolotl, tar. It's just a good scamming tool. Into Star Pack, microbe goes a bit too crazy because you override all the strawberries, so they just get out of berries, so Sparrow can't protect them, and Cassowary is easier to take it down. It's really good. I love Micro. Maybe Micro goes a bit like, lower, but I'm biased. Maybe I don't know. Going for Chameleon. Chameleon is another pet that sucks to level into, but it's quite good in the mid game in turn 7, 8, 9, 10. It's quite good. So Chameleon main use is as tempo. For example, Chameleon works with flashlight. That's I use a lot for Chameleon. Just faint gift +6/+6. That's really strong. Uh, with foam sword, you can use foam sword, I guess. Uh, it's less useful now with peanut. With coconut, it's not as great. It's okay with TB, but yeah, mainly it's these two guys, Gariel and uh, Stingray. It's good, it's fine enough tempo. Sometimes when I don't have a buff target, I take Stingray flashlight, take Chameleon for tempo, and then give Chameleon the buff, the flashlight buffs. I think that's usually fine enough. Chameleon plays into late game. You can copy Stinky Sock, that's crazy good. You can copy Foam Sword or something. That's usually going to work really well for a turn or two. So I'm happy. This is a pet I think I have to play more with. I don't play with Chameleon as much as maybe I should be doing. So yeah, I think it's fair to say I don't have as much experience as maybe I would like to have with Chameleon. But yeah, Gariel. Another thing. Against Starpack and against Golden Pack and against Unicorn Pack, Chameleon can go really strong, especially Golden and Unicorn, because of Gariel. If you get Gariel Chameleon, you can spam Foam Sword, even spam Toy Gun, and you can actually make a lot of damage. That's actually quite neat. So yeah, that's another use case Chameleon has going for. Gariel on the other hand, it's a bit awkward to play with. It's definitely one of the worst toys, mostly because Gariel doesn't have scaling. Actually, it's the only toy without scaling. So yeah, you can get Melon Toy. Every time I go Melon Toy, I think the same. I think, yeah, this is fine, but I rather have some form of scaling than Melon Toy on my toy slot. So yeah, Melon Toy, it's weird because comparing it with Turtle, you think uh, Melon Toy is better, but no, it's fine, it's okay. Toy Gun is kind of niche. Toy Gun only really used for like one turn scams, which might be enough if you're able to scam one turn with Toy Gun, like kill a shark, or especially into Golden Pack, since Golden has a lot of stuff in the backline that you want to kill, like a secretary bird or something around those lines. Gariel can shine definitely. Most of the time I end up taking Gariels is because toy cycle is usually correct if I have a Mosa or something. But I don't love leveling up into Gariel. I think leveling up into Gariel is kind of not great. Especially, I honestly prefer having oven meats most of the time than getting Gariel, even if that means like melon toy. I don't know. Maybe I'm just coping. I don't know. So these two guys, Buffalo Llama. I'm really really biased. Most people rank these guys really low. Chum is crazy. Chum, I think Chum ranks Llama as the worst, or second. I think that's crazy. Um, these guys, I love them, especially Llama. I've been discovering my love for Llama. It's so good. Buffalo is also really strong. My issue with Buffalo is how much it depends on all or shrimp. You need all, you need shrimp, and maybe a little lucky with chinchillas, maybe. But when you get Buffalo going, it's absolutely insane. It feels unstoppable at times. It scales so fast with Dragon Late game. Oh, dude, that's crazy good. So Buffalo high, huge highs. The issue with Buffalo is that without the right support, it can be a little wonky. That's the issue. I'm going to give it up to that. If you have all, Buffalo is the best tier up, 100%. If you have all, you're praying to get that Buffalo. Llama, on the other hand, doesn't need as much support, but doesn't scale as much as Buffalo. Buffalo can scale like crazy. Llama's case, fine enough. Uh, Llama, the difference with Llama for me is that I can run only 4 squad and Llama will grow. With Buffalo, I have to put the extra effort of start cycling guys, so that's going to be awkward. With Llama, I just forget slam croissant on this guy, and Llama is going to be growing 3 pairs for each turn. It's super good and super versatile. Doesn't matter if I don't have all or I don't have shrimp. If I have a moth start or a gecko start or even a ladybug start, I often just slaughtering the llama. I let llama grow. So this way I have 2 big guys. So I'm just llama's just growing and I'm happy with that. Llama plays also fine with other pets like orchid, like dragon. It's just good pet in general. It's like a strong pet. I like it. Lobster. Hmm. Lobster is Lobster is a weird one to say about because it feels pretty much. Oh, what happened? Uh, okay. Lobster feels like just like what turkey feels, right? Lobster feels pretty standard most of the time. Really good pivot tool. Mostly the pivot tool, right? Chicken, this guy cans, get a new team. Uh, I have an issue with lobster, and again, it's an issue with me. For some reason, I'm too blind to lobsters. I end up skipping out of lobsters by accident. I think that's an issue with me, not with lobster. I don't know. I think lobster is really strong. Every time you buy a unit, you get free pair on that unit. Pivoting, that's two extra cans. That's really strong. It, I love lobster. It's really strong. I don't know why I have that biased. I mean, not biased, but I don't know why I have that blind spot for it. It's just something that happens, and I'm not really like putting a lot of attention. Maybe. And the best tier for easy, easily the best tier for is Tar. Tar is crazy good. If this is the best one to tier up for sure in early rounds because you're gaining access to chili. Chili is crazy, and you're getting chili. This is a perk, so you're getting attack with Ladybug. You're getting chili on one of the strong guys. You're working with Axolotl. You're this is just a super solid pet that just works super fine. This is a really strong pet. I don't have much to say to add. You're really happy to see Tar with Panther works like a charm. I buy a lot of Tars on Curve too. I just like that Tar that much. So, tier 4s in general, quite weak in general. You have, if you tier up and you're wanting to see Tar or Llama, if you have all, you want to see Buffalo, Lobster is okay to take. But most of these guys, even Gariel, Chameleon, Microbe, Doberman, the Lobster, they all show their true power later in the game, not right now. So that's a bit weird, a bit awkward maybe. But yeah, this tier 4 is definitely really special. I don't think it's as bad as the tier 2s, honestly. But we can see a buff, like, well, it's a bit awkward to buff, right? I don't even know what should be buffed. Maybe, well, the obvious pet is whale shark, but I don't know how to balance whale shark correctly the with arena because if I remember correctly, in arena whale shark is actually quite good, but I don't exactly remember. Uh, I don't know. I don't really know what to buff, to be honest. Tier 4s, I like them. They are definitely not as good as other tier 4 selection. Maybe this is indeed the worst tier 4 selection, maybe. But it's not as egregiously bad as other tier 2s. That's the learning point here. So for the tier 5s, so a little bit of insight on this video. I've been I've been recording each tier separately and then pasting them, so because they are taking some time, so I take breaks within each tier. I might speedrun this tier because this is the third time I try recording it. The first time it lasted 45 minutes, but I forgot to activate the microphone, so it was just 45 minutes of me rambling and no sound. The second time lasted other 40 minutes, and I just lost the footage. So if I go a little too fast on them, it's because I'm too tired of saying the same things one more time for a third time. So, tier 5. The tier 5s are all really good. They are really strong tier 5s. Maybe the best selection of tier 5s in the game. Um, so even the ones I have at the bottom, they are quite good pets, especially compared to other tiers. So being the last one doesn't mean it's bad, it's just not as good as the others. It's a really good pet. really good pets for the ones that are the last. Mm, you can see that because I have snapping as last, and snapping is just a different tar. Well, we can talk about snapping a bit. Mm, snapping is pretty much a different tar. It's a tar that gives you skewer instead of chili, which in paper seems good because skewer is a better chili. Now that skewer kills snake, skewer also pops more melons. Skewer also is better into summons, into kill like against wolf, especially against how do you call it? Fly and other stuff. Quite good against rooster if they have a level 2 rooster or something like that. My issue with snapping is that tar exists, so I rather take one of these amazing tier 5s and then search for a tar on curve than take my tier 5 slot, it being snapping. So it's just really close. They are snapping is a really good pet. The issue is like tar is it's not tar is a little worse, but you can find tars on turn 7, 8 if you just roll rather than wasting your level up on a tar, on a second tar, to say the least. He's still quite the strong pet. He's actually really strong with Panther, Axolotl. He gives more perks. Into certain boards, he's absolutely awesome. Into Golden Pack and Star Pack, he's also really good, especially in Star Pack, to pop the strawberries from how do you call from Sparrow. You can pop them quite good. For goat, goat, mm, goat is a pet I have a little trouble ranking it. It's a pet I want to have more uses, but for some reason I don't think I have the goat seed. The goat definitely the pet I get the least out of level ups, which I don't know. I don't nearly experiment as much as I want to with goat. He's really good in certain boards, like with buffalo. It helps you cycle more pets. It helps you like you gain gold. You gain gold by cycling chinchillas. It's crazy. It's really fun. Well, you don't gain gold. You just it's free. Cycle chinchilla is free if you have level 1 goat. Helps a lot with buffalo cycles. Helps a lot with dragon. Dragon becomes a really good scaler if you have goat support. Um, it's one of the best scaling combos. Goat Dragon, of course, with LSL Sauro, also a really good combo, but we'll talk about that later. So yeah, Goat has another use case in pivot boards with lobster, with cans, with chicken. You want Goat to help you with the pivot because you're saving gold, and the more gold you save, the better. This is just a really cool guy. The problem for me is that Goat, similar to Doberman and to Chameleon, when you level up into a goat, if you don't have a buffalo, they don't do absolutely nothing. Maybe you get like a trigger for turn. When you get goat, it feels just like a duck. It's not really doing much, so that's an issue. It only starts doing stuff when you're pivoting, like in turn 9, or when you are setting up dragon around those turns too, if you get early dragon. So you can only see how good goat is in those moments. So not as great as other tier 5 that have an impact as soon as you buy them, which I think is usually better. So moving to chicken. You can say that I underappreciate chicken, that I'm ranking it low, and that's totally fair. To be honest, I think I'm ranking the pivot pets not as high as other people would. Maybe I just don't like pivoting as much, which is crazy because this is the pivot pack. But yeah, mm, chicken is usually an auto buy if you have 6, 5, or 4 lives. Good Poppy Pack players also buy chicken in 3 lives because they are confident on their pivoting abilities. I'm not as confident in them, so I don't buy them in 3. But they are. Chicken is good. Chicken is definitely a good pet. You can get a lot of value from chicken because usually chicken means like 2, 3, even 4 cans depending on how much you're keeping chicken, which is so much. Chicken can give you so much value from it. Oops, what did I do? Which is absolutely perfect. It's really good. For me, the issue is maybe I'm not too competent in the chicken late game because those lives and turns that I end up losing, on those same turns, my opponent takes those turns to set up a late game for themselves. So turtle packs end up using like setting up a dragon or cat late game scalers, star pack setups, or ostrich hamster. In the golden pack setups, like crazy trumpet boards or like a cobra German shepherd or however the name is, and unicorn packs set up like team spirit stuff. So it's not really that beneficial. Maybe just I'm not good enough with it, which is completely fair. Chicken games are quite rare for me. I don't usually have chicken games, which maybe it's just my luck. Maybe I'm just not good enough. Who knows? I don't know. It's a bit an awkward pet. I heard. I think I saw Coke say once that chicken small sometimes is a weird game, a weird way to lose a game that you are winning. You maybe take a chicken if you are winning because you say, well, I'm up in lives, I'm up in tempo, so I can take this advantage to set up a crazy pivot. But maybe you can just rush a bit and kill the opponent before they have a chance to come back, you know? Chicken with maybe I don't think chicken is as safe on 4 lives type stuff because they're also giving a chance those like 2, 3 turns you lose or maybe tie with chicken. You're also giving a chance to your opponent to come back in the game. So maybe who knows? I'm not sure. Maybe you can argue I'm ranking low. That's super fair. Orchid Mantis. I'm not. I just said I'm not really the biggest chicken enjoyer. I am absolutely the biggest Orchid Mantis enjoyer in the game, probably, maybe, definitely up there. I absolutely love Orchid Mantis. Most Poppy Pack players and rational human beings will have Orchid Mantis last, and by a lot of difference, which is fair, but I just love it. You can see I have bias for these 4 squad boards with all llama, shrimp, dragon, so I'm bound to like Orchid Mantis. So I have a great bias. Even just in turn 7, if you have a good scaler like all level 2 or hatching level 2, you can I take a lot of orchids because you can make it big fast and you have the time to, the scaler, you have the means to, you have the technology to make it big. And once you have that, And once it becomes big, it almost feels unlosable. Like it's so good. I Chum jokes a lot because every time I take Orchid when I'm streaming the game to Chum, I lose. But it's good. I promise I win with Orchid. It's really strong. If you're new to Puppy Pack and you're watching this, don't buy Orchid. Don't follow these. Don't trust me with Orchid. Orchid is probably not as good as I'm making out to be. So don't buy it. In fact, if you're new to Puppy Pack, you probably shouldn't be following this tier list. But yeah, Orchid. I really like Orchid. I think he's underappreciated. Um, he's one of the best buff targets at this point because you are essentially buffing two pets with buffing Orchid Mantis. Mm, especially with Dragon. With Dragon, if you have Orchid Mantis Dragon, you are essentially buffing four pets. Dragon is essentially buffing the whole team rather than just buffing three. So I said Goat or Dragon really good. Well, I rather have Orchid Dragon than Goat Dragon most of the time. I enjoy Orchid so much. He's my favorite pet in the pack, maybe, probably. It's definitely my. Well, it's hard to tell. Orchid is super fun to play with. All to Micro, Axolotl, Goat. I mean Panther. They are up there. I think Orchid's my favorite one. Mm, the issue with Orchid, well, there are two issues with Orchid. The first one is that at level 1, it doesn't do enough. At level 1, it summons a Mantis with 40% of attack and health, which is super weak. So even if the Orchid is big, the Mantis it summons is going to be weak. But if you get Orchid at level 2, it spikes in power so much. It's actually crazy how much it spikes in power. The other issue is that in a lot of boards, Orchid is going to be bad because, especially like in LSL boards, it's going to be bad. In pivot boards, it's going to be bad. You rather have a good unit than a duck, than what is essentially a duck. So yeah, I think it's overhated. I think Chum overhates it a bit too much. Chum, if you're watching this, I love you, but Orchid, it's Orchid is so good. Um, yeah, if you rank it as the bottom one, it's super fair, super understandable. I have a big bias for Orchid, so just making that clear. I think he's underappreciated though. Um, so that's it for Orchid. Sorry for the banter. Eagle. Eagle is a pet I like a lot. Eagle is super nice. It's just I said how hoopy is the definition of a meh pet, like just a well, if I must pet. Well, Eagle is the definition of a good pet. Eagle is just good. It's just solid. You're never going wrong with Eagle. Eagle also is really strong against Badger, against Big Badger and Shark, which happens to be two pets that are quite annoying for Turtle Pack to deal with. Turtle Pack is kind of it's can go Big Badger, can go Shark, and that's going to be annoying for us to deal with. So just backlining the Eagle, putting it in the back, putting a salt on it, you have a super good way to answer Badger and answer um, Shark because you ideally trade and the summon wins the game. So yeah, this is a really nice answer. Super good buff target too. It's really nice. It's just a good buff target. The other thing you can do, which I don't do it as much, but you can do it, is getting early level 2 Eagle and building it to get a level 2 tier 6, which can be so good. If you hit Seal 2 or Dragon 2, you might win the game on the spot, honestly. If you hit octopus level 2, you hit lionfish level 2, mantis shrimp, sourdough, that's just nice. Puma level 2. Of course, you can also hit anglerfish tier 2, and that's kind of not ideally, not really ideal, but uh, could be worse, I think. Eagle is just good. There's not much to say about Eagle because he's just a good unit. He's often a good buff target if you're going to pivot out of like your tier 1, honestly. Just nice to have. Really cute, really cool. And now we enter the top 5. I think there's a clear difference between the top 5 and the bottom 5. I'm still saying all of these guys are really good, but these are really good. These are absurdly good. So, from the top 5, I think the worst one is definitely Axolotl. Axolotl is the first scaler and works absolutely crazy good with things like tar, with snapping, with even with beetle, with plastic saw. It's really good. You're getting even just buying it if you don't have a tar. You can, if it's your level up, you can buy it because in turn 7, 8, you know you're going to buy some pies. You know you're going to buy a tar if you see it. So having this is just really good. There's an issue with axolotl. It's that you kinda need, well, you don't need, but it's the real power of this guy comes from axolotl level 2. Because level 1 axolotl can feel a bit slow sometimes, and you can fall behind on stats with axolotl 1, especially in the later turns. You much rather have Illisil Dragon T-Rex, even Mosa. But if you hit the level 2 axolotl, you can scale so fast. It's kinda ridiculous. Like Tar, just buying perks is like a pear and a perk is just good. You buy a lemon and you get a free +2/+2. Tar, snapping, stuff. If I Axolotl games are so fun too. One of the most fun pets with Orchid and with Panther, definitely. Um, really fun pet. I love it. It's super awesome to just scale your board with perks type stuff. Stonefish. Stonefish is just, well, before talking about Stonefish, these guys, this top 4, I think it's all really tied up. It's really close to each other. I think maybe Stonefish is a step ahead and these 3 guys are really close to each other. But honestly, you can order these in the order you want. You can put Stonefish first, and that will, I'm going to agree with you. Well, not agree, but I can understand that. It's super fair to rank Stonefish or Mosa or Panther. This is my order though. Mm, the reason I have Stonefish last, Stonefish, well, last of the 4, of course. Stonefish has one issue, only one. It's bad into summons. If the opponent spams like deer, fly, even like whale, deer type stuff, if it's turtle pack, well, Stonefish is not going to be as good, especially because your opponent can somewhat play around your Stonefish, can position around it, and can get the advantage out of the Stonefish, which feels a bit wonky at times. It's not as great as I would like it to be, probably. Um, Otherwise, Stonefish is absolutely fantastic. Into everything else that isn't summons, Stonefish is S tier, super S tier. Into rabbit boards with one big guy, he's absolutely fantastic. Into big dog games, he's really good. He's another uh, shark answer because you can place Stonefish second to last and put someone in the back, and he's going to trade the shark most of the time. Just put a pie on this guy, he's going to trade almost everything. He's absolutely fantastic. I love this guy. He's also really good into big oxes. You have to scale a stonefish, but stonefish can absolutely trade oxes and stuff. He can trade mm, melon guys. He's really really good. Um, with moth, he works really strong because you can put stonefish in the front for one turn or more and get the moth attack on it. It's super good in general. So yeah, if you put it third, second, or even first, I can't really disagree with you. Going for Mosa. Mosa is it's a bit weird to me because it's a pet that I constantly underrate. So like I but it's because I don't get enough Mosas to actually make it seem that I play Mosa a lot, but the reality is that I value Mosa much more than any other but any other pet that I put behind. So I know I know and I understand how good of a scaler Mosa is. If you think about it, Mosa is like a better monkey because monkey in 2 turns he will give you 4/4 and Mosa will give you 4/6 in 2 turns. It has a condition, of course, that being that you need to have a toy for it to work. You need to be toy cycling, which I don't think is a bad condition since you are going to want to have these toys on cycle. You want to have a oven mitts, you want to have some form of toy, like even melon toy, flashlight if you can. So this isn't really a bad condition, because you already want to have, because toys are the advantage pack to has Bobby Pack has. Like Star Pack has strawberries, Golden Pack has the trumpet, and Unicorn Pack has the Mana's knives. So this is our thing. This is toys is our thing, and so having that condition isn't really negative. Well, in theory, it's a bit negative because it doesn't work if you don't have a toy, but you already want to have a toy cycling, so usually it doesn't matter. In fact, because of Mosa, you want to have a toy on turn 6 to make it pop on turn 8 and get the Mosa stats as early as possible. So Mosa is just such a great pet that you want to be forcing yourself to have turn 6 toys. This is an incredible amount of stats. It's just super solid. You're buffing 2 pets. It's great. It's absolutely great. It's absolutely fantastic with Mandrill, Flying Squirrel, and Mosa. You can get so many stats. If you can, you build the Mandrill. You get the instant stats from Mosa, and you get the toy back thanks to flying. So it's such a great combo. The thing here with Mosa is that can be a little bit awkward if you level up and you don't have a toy. That's the only negative I have to say about Mosa. Even then, there are games that I don't have a toy, but I still take Mosa as my level up because I know that I maybe have a bit more of tempo than my opponent, but I seriously need scaling, so I just hard roll the toy and usually pays off. Yeah, Mosa. Another thing that doesn't really matter for a competitive standpoint, but Mosa flying Mandrill is definitely one of the most fun combos to be playing. It's like honestly tier 5 has such fun combos to use with Mosa, with Axolotl, with Mantis, just super fun pets to use, and I haven't even talked about Panther, which is super fun too. This is just such a fun pack to play. If you are thinking of playing Puppy Pack, just do it a little bit. It's super fun to play. So yeah, I highly recommend. And Mosa, top 3 for me, top 3 tier 5, highly deserved. Really, really, really good. Moving to Panther. Panther can be played from two ways. The most typical way to play is just to buy a pie and get an instant +8/+8, which is absolutely absurd. It's fantastic. And then cover in battle the pie with either tar or snapping. So you get a chili that does 10 damage or a skewer that does 6, which is incredible. You have so many synergies with these two, with axolotl and stuff. The second way to play, which is a bit more rare for it to happen, is that you have maybe tropical fish, so you don't need the tempo so badly. Maybe you have some lives, your opponent doesn't have maybe huge tempo, you have an okay board, so you decide to scale a panther, which you can do if you have a tropical fish level 2, an owl level 2, a hatching level 2, even puppy with oven mitts, and you can slam a croissant on the panther to help it scale, and you can get a panther grow so quickly. And this is good because while you don't have the tempo that pie provides, you are going to be set up for the late game much better, because in the late game you can play panther pancakes, which is absolutely absurdly good, especially if your panther is already big. Because the issue with panther pie in the late game is that the panther, if you aren't scaling it, is going to be small without the pie. And if you scale it, it's going to be big enough to where pie isn't really needed, and you can just put a better perk, like pancakes, which is going to buff your entire team. Panther level 2 is also one of the best level 2s, maybe, because you can do so much stuff. Like pie becomes absurdly good, same with chili, skewer, pancakes. But if you did the croissant scale with Trop or some of these guys, and you have a big enough panther, you can put lemon on it, and lemon makes it almost unkillable. It's really, really good. I wonder if level 2, it's kind of silly, but I wonder if level 2 panther can work with like garlic. That can be like an infinite lemon if you think it in a way. Maybe I don't know. That's just rambling. I'm just wondering. Mm, yeah, that's super good, but it even in the late game, if you can just buy um, Panther and give it pancakes, and it's like two LSC level 2 triggers with Panther pancakes in battle, of course. You can give it a steak and do 40 damage. It's really strong. It's absolutely great. So for me, it's high, deserved second spot in tier 5s. And for the top one, I have Stingray, which I think it's the common pet to be top of tier 5, but I don't know. The Stingray is absurdly good. It's super good. I love Stingray. In this pack, you have so many white scalers, or scalers that buff 2 units. You have like Mosa and T-Rex buffing 2 units. You have LSL Dragon buffing the entire party. So it's really nice to have Flashlight as a way to buff to concentrate a buff in only one unit, which is really good with both Octo and Lionfish. And you have Flashlight, which is one of the best toys, and you have Stinky Sock, which is the Puppy Pack equivalent to a Skunk. So you have one unit that has access to 2 amazing toys with Peanut Nerf. Now Stinky Sock is the best late game toy, like the best scamming toy. So this is absolutely huge to have. And one of the things that I'm wondering to, I haven't tested as much as I want to, but I definitely want to test it a bit, is with onboard
Stingray, because last patch you used to keep on board Stingray to give it a flashlight buff and then give it assault, because with us old salt, of course, you had a big tier 5 and you just give it salt. Now with salt change, that isn't good, so I started to just cycle stingrays and not keeping them on board. But the thing is, maybe keeping them on board, buffing them, is a easy way to have access to Stinky Sock, which is now the best toy, late game toy. So maybe just it's good to have that. That's worth it, because I had boards in the past that I had to really board locked, so I had to sell a good unit to get stock in. So maybe just it's good to have a big stingray and just be refreshing the stinky stocks, even just to get like another flashlight. It can be really cool, of course, if you don't have flying. But yeah, I want to experiment more with Stingray on board. Seems pretty cool. What happened here? Oh, mm, yeah, that's it. That's the tier 5s. Really good tier. I hope this footage doesn't get lost, or I have the mic open, please, so I don't have to redo it. Now for the last tier of pets here. Honestly, they are really decent, all of them. I maybe underrate a bit Mangus and T-Rex. They are a bit too low maybe for other people, but I think they are all quite decently strong. We have some of the best scalers, we have some of the best buff targets here. So yeah, first to start with Lionfish. Lionfish is definitely a really interesting pet, because he in theory can be really strong, but he needs a lot of support. So he needs to be, usually you need him to be level 2 and to have 20 or more attack for him to be actually worth the money. If you don't get to those stats and levels, it's not going to be good enough. You mostly want an Octo in that case, but here I often don't take Lionfish, because to get to those stats it's a bit hard if you have Elysiel or Dragon, or even T-Rex can be quite slow, even Mosa Axolotl. So I only take Lionfish in 2 scenarios. If I'm pivoting out of a board and I can get like a pretty decently high attack Lionfish, then I take him. Or if I have Flashlight, maybe ideally with Puma, to get him to like crazy high stats, and even then you kinda need to have level 2 for him to be worth. Otherwise he's kind of mediocre going to bad. He's not really worth it, especially because he's competing with Octo, which we'll talk about Octo. Octo is absolutely crazy. So yeah, not as great as maybe he could be. I would like to see a buff to Lionfish, maybe something that makes him a little bit better, but I can understand the Lionfish is a hard pet to balance, given how some people use it in customs and stuff. So yeah, Lionfish. I like Lionfish. Lionfish games are quite fun, but last. Here, here for another pet that I'm biased for. I'm biased for Angler. I really like Angler. I usually rank Angler around here. Nowadays, I think I rank Angler here, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to. I already been too biased, so I'm trying to be a little not biased here. I'm rank Angler 9th. I just love Angler. Angler is another one of my favorite pets in this pack. You just can take one of the opponent pets, usually it's going to be great because if you steal a skunk from Turtle Pack, any tier 6 that you steal honestly is really good. Stealing a leopard, a gorilla, stealing a boar, stealing a snake, stealing a tiger. Tiger Octo goes insane. So yeah, in tier against Turtle Pack is quite good. Against Mirror, it's awkward because Mirror is against Puppy Pack. So against the Puppy Pack, he's a bit awkward because you're using him as sort of cheaper way to get level ups, which it's okay, but depends if your opponent has the same pet, which can be cool. If your opponent has like a puppy, you can steal the toy, the stingray. Against Star Pack and Golden Pack, it's a bit more hard to find value. I can't really think of uses just on the top of my head, but against Golden Pack you can steal a Cobra or a German Shepherd or however the pet name is. You can also steal a Grizzly Bear. He can be good. Against Star Pack, maybe you get lucky and steal an Ammonite or something. Um, Especially against Unicorn Pack, he is super good against Unicorn Pack. You can steal so many stuff from them. You can steal. One of the funniest thing is you can punish their Salmon of Knowledge with a lot of pets, especially chicken and especially you, chameleon. You can get them level up and copy, like makes crazy good stuff. So you can, if they go Salmon of Knowledge, you can scam them, punish them, and then you can steal their Salmon of Knowledge to keep the punishment. It's really funny. Um, it's a quite strong pet. I usually rank them around here. Um, no, that's so crazy. But for the sake of the tier list, I'm going to place him here, especially because I've started to use Mangus and T-Rex more as of late, so maybe my opinions change and I put him here, or maybe, I don't know, I like anglerfish. Going for the first tier 6 scaler, we have T-Rex, which T-Rex got a nerf to its ability. Instead of being end of turn like Giraffe, he got changed to start of turn, which is bad, of course. I think it wasn't needed. I think that nerf was too harsh. But as of late, I've been using T-Rex a lot. If I have Hatching Chick, I'll change Hatching Chick for T-Rex around if I get T-Rex early or something. I can target my buffs to my big units like Octosauro, Stonefish, Panther, etc. So he's actually quite good. With Orchid 2, he cool. Mm. I don't know if I have much to say though about T-Rex. The thing I don't like is he can feel quite slow in comparison with Dragon and Elysil. So he can, for me, he's the worst of the three. But maybe that changes because I've been taking a lot more T-Rex as of late, so I don't know, maybe that changed. Going for Mangus. Last patch, Mangus was by far here the best tier, the best tier 6 by far. What is the. Well, Mangus was the best tier 6 by far. Now he has fallen a lot more because of the Peanut nerf. Peanut used to be regular Peanut like Scorp. Now it's Peanut Brittle, and now it only lasts one hit, which is horrible because it ruins Toucan synergy. It ruins so much about Peanut. You can just have a big health guy, give it peanut and clear all the backline of the opponent. You can't do that, sadly. But I think it was a deserved nerf. I think peanut was too strong, and nerfing it is correct. Maybe the nerf is a bit too harsh. I want to see maybe you can delete Peanut Toy and make a new tier 6 toy. I want to see that because Peanut is now by far the worst one of the three. Maybe it's a bit tied with Coconut, but yeah, I think I take Coconut more than Peanut. The best one now I think is TB. But yeah, mm, okay. Um, to explain a bit more, Coconut, you it's rare occasions when you use Coconut because you use it when your board is big, but their board is also big, so you use it to prevent like Peanut, to prevent to win the trades, basically. Especially if you have like Octo, it Coconut can be really good if you have Octo. The issue here is um, Turtle Pack is going to go most of the time summons against you, which makes Coconut a bit worse. It's kind of specific. Peanut is bad because again they are going to be playing summons and Peanut having just one hit is bad. Um, I found more use out of Peanut in the mirror against other puppy packs because I don't know, I think it's way more useful. So that's going for Peanut, I guess. TB is the best one. I've taken so many TBs as of late. It's like a mammoth, maybe, if you want to say it that way. You can take mammoth, especially with Puma. You can TV scale is kind of neat, but it's a bit awkward as a pet. I don't like it a lot. I take more TP and stock and Sokka's late game toys. Even Foam Sword has more niches, I think, which is a bit sad. But yeah, Mangus, it's not in a great spot. I want to see something change with this pet, honestly. But yeah, moving to Mantis Shrimp. I used to love Mantis Shrimp. I used to say Mantis Shrimp is top 3, something like that. I've grown out of Mantis Shrimp a bit because maybe it's just that I started to value these guys more, so maybe it's just that change. Mantis Shrimp is similar to Eagle in the sense that he's just good. He can pop out melons, he can defend you from scorps, he can kill like a summon before the whale eats it. It's just good. It's just good. It's a bit awkward. You can the opponent can play around it. It's usually like a one turn scam thing, right? Usually. This design is so awkward. The Am I the only one that thinks the eyes are too big compared to the rest of the body? I don't know. Dragon. Dragon is an absolutely great scaler. You can guess that I really like Dragon because I have a bias here. But I think Dragon is great, especially with these guys to support Dragon. Usually, if I have level 2 all, I swap the level 2 all with a Dragon to the late game scale. It's quite strong, it's really, really, really good. But the issue with Dragon is if you don't have one of these guys, it can be a bit awkward, especially if you're low on lives. If you're low on lives, it's better. It gets completely outclassed by LSL, to be honest. That's the issue with Dragon. And I still think Dragon is absolutely great. So if you hit dragon early and you have lives, take it, it's going to be good. Except if you hit Elysiel 2 or Octo. It's a bit sad, but it's really, really strong, and I like him a lot. Going to Sauro. Sauro is a pet that I like a lot because of how fat he is. He is already like 412, if I remember correctly. He's 412, like Mammoth, and he's just saving you gold. And he saves you gold in a better way that Goat does it, because you can just spam food, you can spam perks, you can just buy lasagnas, like 2 cost lasagnas are just good. You can, and this is something that I learned with these two pets, with Goat and Sauropod, is that having more gold allows you to high roll more easily, because you have more gold to high roll with, which is kind of crazy, but yeah, these two pets are kind of funny. If I'm pivoting, Sauro is another pet that I tend to take a lot because it's fat, it's pretty big. He's a big guy, and you can get him a lot of gold value from him. And of course, there's the LSL combo, which is amazing, and I'm going to talk about it later. But I think that's all I have to say about Sauro. Just really good pet. Puma. Hmm. What to say about Puma? Puma is really good. The difference with Chameleon is that leveling up into Chameleon is useless, but leveling up into Puma is absolutely great because you might have a flashlight, you might have another like toy, like oven meats, like TP, Sock, Foam Sword, TV, um, something, coconut. So he's useful from the start. That's really good. He's basically a better Chameleon now with how these scaling toys work. The one thing Chameleon had over Puma was the order of how some toys work. So Puma works just doubling the toy effect. So the toy effect goes after everything. So let's say this, you have a Puma on front and you have second a Beetle. If you have the coconut toy from Mangus, the coconut will go to the Puma, and the Puma will double the effect and give the coconut to the Beetle. That's the toy order. Then goes the ability of the pet's order, so it activates the Beetle ability, and the coconut gets covered by the perk the Beetle has, so maybe a garlic, maybe meat bone, maybe honey, so you lose the coconut. If you have a chameleon instead, first activate the toy, so the toy gives the coconut to the chameleon, and then the order is determined by the attack of the beetle and the attack of the chameleon. If the beetle has the highest attack, Beetle's ability is going to trigger first. So Beetle is going to gain his perk, the honey, the meat bone, the garlic, and then it's going to gain the coconut because the chameleon is going to activate the ability. So he's not overriding his coconut. In this example, it's really almost never going to happen because you aren't going to have one of these guys. But it used to be really important with Peanut. With Peanut, uh, ordering or with Sock or with something, him going later was usually really, really good. Now with Peanut Nerf, that difference of time isn't really doesn't really matter, honestly. It's so slim that Puma is still just better. Flashlight scaling with Puma and TV Puma scaling is really strong, so that's another upside. Elysiel is the best scaler for this pack. You have Elysiel with Sauropod gaining more HP, thus giving you more perk triggers. There's nothing much to say, you take this guy almost every time. If you get
Level 2 Elysiel, it's most of the time game. That's right there is just game, especially if you have some lives. He scales so much. He's really good. He's super strong. So yeah, he's super good. Mm, He also has the in battle effect, so you can play with Peanut or Coconut, and you front this guy, especially Peanut. You front Elysiel, and you get like a mammoth effect on battle, which is super nice to have. Then there's Octo. So the debate here is which is better, the scaler or the buff target. This is the best scaler in the pack. This is the best buff target in the pack. Why I rank Octo higher is because I think Octo is just so good and can work with any scaler. But Elysiel, you need like good guys to work with. You need like good units to buff to end up winning, because sometimes scaling isn't going to win you, so you need tech to win you. Octo is just the best tech unit, and you're going to make him work with Elysiel or with Dragon or with Axo or with Mosa or with T-Rex. You're going to make him work with anything, really. But this is splitting hairs, honestly. You can just put whichever you like more. I like Octo a bit more, he's super fun to play too. He's so damn good with anything. Slam a lemon, he's great. I think that concludes the tier list. I won't rank foods because I think that's really hard, and I also have like bias for foods too. Like I buy too many apples. I know Chum hates me when I freeze roll apples. I do it too much. So yeah, thanks for watching.